What if I told you that the average American household doesn't even have six figures saved for retirement, but somehow the parking lots are full of $70,000 SUVs? That's not a guess. According to the Federal Reserve's most recent survey of consumer finances, the median household retirement savings sits at around $87,000, and the median net worth is roughly $193,000. And before that number sounds impressive, remember this. Net worth includes home equity. That's the value of your house minus what you owe. You can't exactly swipe that at the grocery store.
So how is it that so many people appear to be doing so well?
Let's break it down.
Drive through almost any middle-class neighborhood and you'll see shiny trucks, luxury SUVs, upgraded kitchens, new decks, and maybe a boat in the driveway. Scroll through social media and it's beach resorts, designer bags, and steak dinners that cost more than your weekly grocery bill. It feels like everyone is thriving.
But the numbers tell a different story.
The median full-time worker in the US earns about $62,000 per year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, compare that to the average new car payment, which recently hit around $748 per month, according to Experian's State of the Automotive Finance Market report. That's nearly $9,000 a year, just for the car payment, not insurance, not gas, not maintenance.
So here's the real question. Are people wealthy or are they just well-financed? There's a big difference. Looking wealthy is visible. It's the car, the watch, the house, the vacation photos. Being wealthy, on the other hand, is mostly invisible. It's the retirement accounts growing quietly in the background. It's the emergency fund that covers 6 months of expenses. It's the investments that compound year after year without anyone applauding. And that difference between visible and invisible is where most people get tripped up. Because spending feels like progress. When you upgrade your car, it feels like you're moving up in life. When you move into a bigger house, it feels like you made it. When you wear the right brands, it feels like you're winning. Those things are tangible. You can see them. Other people can see them. Saving money, investing, keeping the same car for 10 years, that feels boring. There's no applause for maxing out your 401k. No one compliments your diversified index fund portfolio at dinner. Now, remember this. Humans are wired for social approval. Psychologists have known for decades that we respond strongly to status signals. Visible success triggers positive reactions from others, and that feels good. It gives us validation. And validation is powerful. But here's the catch. The Federal Reserve also reports that a large percentage of Americans would struggle to cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing or selling something. Let that sink in. At the same time that luxury cars are everywhere, many households are financially fragile. That's the illusion. A $70,000 SUV doesn't tell you anything about someone's bank account. It tells you what they chose to prioritize. It might be paid off, or it might be financed over 7 years with a monthly payment that quietly eats away at their ability to invest. And here's where it gets interesting. Debt makes it incredibly easy to look successful. You don't need $70,000 in cash to drive a $70,000 vehicle. You just need a decent credit score and a lender willing to approve you. The same goes for vacations, designer wardrobes, even furniture. Buy now, pay later. The system makes it simple. In fact, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York tracks household debt levels, and they've reached record highs in recent years. Trillions of dollars across mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and student loans. That doesn't mean everyone is reckless, but it does show that many lifestyles are built on borrowed money. Let's talk about something subtle but powerful. Lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is what happens when your spending rises as your income rises. You get a raise, and instead of saving more, you upgrade your car. You get a promotion, and suddenly the old apartment doesn't feel good enough. You start earning more, but your financial stress doesn't disappear because your expenses rise right alongside your paycheck. It's like running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. You feel like you're advancing, but you're still in the same place financially. Now compare that to someone who does the opposite. They get a raise and increase their savings rate instead of their spending. They keep their living costs steady. They invest the difference. From the outside, that person might look average, maybe even behind. But 10 years later, the gap becomes obvious. Compound interest, the idea that your money earns returns and then those returns earn returns, starts to do the heavy lifting. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he said it or not, the math is real. According to data from Vanguard and other investment firms, long-term stock market returns have historically averaged around 7 to 10% annually over decades. That kind of growth doesn't make headlines in your daily life. It's slow, quiet, almost invisible at first. But over time, it changes everything. Here's another layer most people don't talk about: stress. When your lifestyle is financed at the edge of your income, you lose flexibility. You need the next paycheck. You need the job. You can't easily pivot. You can't take a risk. You can't step back. Real wealth isn't about looking impressive. It's about options. It's about being able to say no to a toxic job. It's about taking time off without panic. It's about handling emergencies without swiping a credit card and hoping for the best. And yet, we live in a culture that celebrates the appearance of wealth far more than the structure behind it. At work, the person driving the luxury car might be assumed to be doing better than the colleague who drives a 12-year-old sedan. At family gatherings, people notice the new upgrades. On social media, the highlights get all the attention. No one posts a screenshot of their emergency fund hitting 6 months of expenses. No one uploads a photo of their low-cost index fund allocation. So the incentives are skewed. What if I told you that building real wealth requires being comfortable with being underestimated? That's the part no one likes. It means skipping upgrades when you can technically afford them. It means saying no to things your peers say yes to. It means driving the paid-off car while others roll up in brand new models. It means focusing on net worth instead of monthly payments. And that takes a certain mindset. Because here's the truth. Looking wealthy is often about external validation. Being wealthy is about internal confidence. One depends on other people noticing. The other depends on you knowing. Coming up, we're going to talk about the personality traits and habits that separate people who quietly build serious wealth from those who simply look successful. We'll dig into why delayed gratification feels so hard, what research says about self-control and long-term success, and how you can shift from chasing appearances to building something real. But before we go there, sit with this question. Are you investing in your image or your independence? Because the answer to that question might shape your entire financial future. So let's pick up where we left off. If looking wealthy is about image and being wealthy is about independence, why do so many smart, hardworking people choose the first over the second? It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they don't care. And it's definitely not because they're incapable. It comes down to psychology. What if I told you that building wealth has less to do with math and more to do with emotion? Let's break it down. There's a famous study from Stanford University called the marshmallow experiment. Researchers gave kids a choice: eat 1 marshmallow now or wait and get 2 later. The children who were able to delay gratification, who could sit there and resist temptation, tended to have better life outcomes years later: higher test scores, better stress management, stronger long-term planning skills. Now, money isn't a marshmallow, but the principle is the same. Spending is the marshmallow. Investing is waiting for two. And waiting is uncomfortable. We live in a world built for instant rewards. You can order dinner in seconds, stream any movie instantly, finance almost anything with a few taps on your phone. Credit card companies and buy now, pay later services make it feel painless. But painless doesn't mean harmless. According to data from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, credit card balances in the US have climbed past $1 trillion. That's not because people don't understand math, it's because short-term pleasure often wins against long-term planning. Now remember, our brains didn't evolve for index funds and retirement accounts. They evolved to grab what was available right now. In ancient times, waiting too long could mean missing out on food or safety. Today, that wiring shows up as impulse spending and lifestyle upgrades. So the first trait of people who quietly build wealth, they train themselves to tolerate discomfort. They don't avoid it, they accept it. It feels awkward to say no to the group vacation. It feels strange to keep driving an old car when your income could qualify you for something new. It feels uncomfortable when friends assume you're not, quote, doing as well because you don't display it. But they understand something most people don't. Money buys freedom, not applause. Let's talk about identity for a second. Many people subconsciously tie their self-worth to what they own. The house becomes proof of success. The car becomes proof of progress. The watch becomes proof of achievement. But when your identity depends on spending, you're stuck on a treadmill that never stops. There's always a newer model, a better neighborhood, a more exclusive vacation. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The people who build real wealth flip that equation. They tie their identity to discipline, consistency, and long-term thinking instead of consumption. And here's where the numbers get interesting again. According to research from Fidelity, consistent savers who start early and invest regularly, even modest amounts, can accumulate hundreds of thousands or even millions over decades, largely because of compound growth. Not because they earned lottery-level salaries, but because they stayed consistent. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need to double your income overnight. You need to avoid doubling your lifestyle every time your income rises. Now, let's address something that makes this harder than it sounds: social pressure. Humans are social creatures. We compare constantly. A 2022 survey from Lending Club found that a majority of Americans, even high earners, live paycheck to paycheck. That includes people earning over $100,000 per year. So when you feel pressure to keep up, understand this. Many of the people you're trying to match are barely holding it together financially. But you don't see the credit card statements. You don't see the stress behind closed doors. You only see the highlight reel. That's why building wealth often requires being comfortable looking average. Average car, average house, average wardrobe. But behind the scenes, above average net worth, above average savings rate, above average peace of mind. Here's another mindset shift that separates the two groups. They focus on net worth, not income. Income is what you make. Net worth is what you keep. Someone earning $250,000 a year and spending $240,000 isn't wealthy. They're dependent on that income continuing. Meanwhile, someone earning $80,000 and saving $20,000 per year is building ownership, assets that generate growth and options. Ownership is the key word. When you own assets, stocks, businesses, real estate that produces cash flow, your money starts working for you. Instead of trading time for dollars forever, you create systems that produce returns. That's when wealth becomes less about hustle and more about structure. But let's be honest, none of this is flashy. No one claps when you automate your investments. No one compliments your diversified portfolio allocation at a barbecue. That's why confidence matters so much. The people who succeed financially over decades aren't necessarily smarter, they're steadier. They understand that boredom is part of the process. Investing isn't thrilling. Saving isn't glamorous. It's repetitive. And repetition over time creates momentum. Think of it like planting trees. At first, it looks like nothing is happening, just small saplings in the ground. Meanwhile, someone else builds a big, flashy structure that looks impressive right away. 10 years later, your trees are providing shade, fruit, maybe even income. The flashy structure might need repairs, upgrades, refinancing. One approach is built for display. The other is built for durability. Now, here's something encouraging. You don't have to choose extreme frugality. This isn't about never enjoying life. It's about intentional spending. Spend on what truly matters to you. Cut ruthlessly on what doesn't. Automate savings so you pay your future self first. Keep lifestyle inflation under control. Focus on increasing your savings rate, not just your salary. And most importantly, redefine what success looks like. Success isn't the car in the driveway. It's the ability to sleep at night without financial anxiety. It's the freedom to take time off. It's the option to retire earlier than expected or switch careers without panic. It's control over your time. So let me leave you with this. Looking wealthy might get you compliments for a moment. Being wealthy gets you choices for a lifetime. The next time you're tempted to upgrade just because everyone else is, pause. Ask yourself, is this building my image or my independence? Because once you truly understand the difference, the desire to impress starts fading, and the desire to build something real takes its place.